I'm Shivs
and I'm Nat, and together we are the Sisterhood Circle podcast.
Our vision is to create connections with our community and inspire change in the world.
So be sure to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to find out more.
So let's dive into today's episode. Hi everybody, and welcome to today's Stand Alone episode. We're really excited to be back in the studio again, and also a little bit nervous, ain't it?
I would definitely say it's the first time there's been a bit more nervous energy about recording, for sure. But I think we've got a really good opportunity today to touch on a subject that is so important within the health and fitness industry just now, but also within the world just now. And yeah, I think we've got a duty of care to come on today and to be able to share this one with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So the topic of conversation today is going to be around GLP-1 agonists, or skinny jabs as they've been referred to on social media. Now, myself and Nat, we were a bit of a mixed bag whether or not to come on and chat about this, because it's a very controversial subject. You've got people who are absolute advocates of it, and you have people that are completely against it. And for us, we want to come on and firstly chat about what our experiences are as coaches, coaching people and seeing more and more of it come into the industry. We also want to educate, but we also want to look at things from an ethical standpoint.
100%.
But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't judge anybody while we're doing it. This is not what this is about. Today is all about us, as I said, sharing our experiences and chatting about what it's like to be a coach, coaching this kind of thing, and our fears around it. And we basically just want to kind of open the floor to some discussion around it, don't we?
Yeah. I think as coaches, we've got a responsibility. We have such an amazing job that we get to do by empowering people day in, day out to change their life. Whether that be someone that is looking for weight loss results, someone that's reducing a BMI to simply be able to go through an operation, or to reduce a BMI to be able to get to the point that they can go through fertility treatment. And it's an incredible job. We educate nutritionally, physically, mental health wise. And we're doing a bit of a disservice if we don't touch base on this one today. And as Shiv says, there's zero judgment about this. I can totally understand and sympathise why people see these skinny jabs online and they're at a point of pure desperation.
Yeah.
Whether that be that it is fertility treatment that they're looking to go through, whether it be that they know they can get a knee replacement that's going to change their life when they get to a healthy BMI, or whether it just be for the last 15 years of their life, they've looked in the mirror and they've hated what they see, and they're getting this wee glimmer of take this jab and it's all going to be okay. And I think it's important as coaches that we educate so people can make informed decisions. We're not coming on today to say we don't support you if you're taking them, we support you if you do. It's nothing like that at all. It's we want to give you the information and allow you to make an informed decision on what you believe is right when you've got all the information rather than the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's the biggest thing in being a coach, is being able to look at what everybody's needs are and just try and find a way that you can provide help and support them doing it. So that's what we hope today's episode's going to be about. Now, that is the serious part of it over and done with, because what we didn't want was for people to see the beginning of this and be like, right, they're coming on and they're going to shoot people down in flames and they're going to do this and that. What we want to do is we just want to help. That is what this is about. This is what the system...
My nervous energy's gone already. So I'm like, we just want to help you.
No, but honestly, like, I am still sweating. I don't know if my nervous energy's away yet. But also, we have a really special guest on today. Yes. So we do someone who has used these jabs and had quite an adverse effect to them that wants to share her story. Now, on the touch point, to touch point on what you had said, Nats, there about a lot of people using these jabs for real reasons, right? Like what you had talked about, I think that we really want to talk about probably the accessibility of them
massively
for younger girls and our concerns around that. I think like that's the biggest thing for us. And I know that this might be something that really splits the camp. 1 in 10 women in the UK are taking these jabs right now. It is absolutely massive. And I think it's just a topic that you've just got to talk about. And I remember very recently watching this video about the bystander effect.
Yep.
And it absolutely hit me hard. And basically it was, if you're seeing something that you feel passionately and strongly about, but you're too scared to talk about it because of what society's thinking about, then you're the bystander. And I am not willing, and you're not willing now, to be that bystander. For me, I was on the fence with talking about this until someone so close to me was affected by these drugs and had a really adverse effect. And it was enough to make me say, I need to do something to make sure that there's education enough out there for potentially people that are looking at this and just saying, right, I'll get it and just take it, as opposed to, I know that there's lots of people out there that are actually taking the medication and they're doing the things that they're meant to be doing and all of those kind of things. But I would say, from what I've been looking at now and the amount of people that we've spoken to, because we've done our research on it, there's a lot of people that aren't doing all of the right things along with these medications.
And I think the thing is, as coaches, we're in such a privileged position that we can see it.
Yeah.
We're not just coming on today to go, this is information that we've been able to study, whether it be in case studies, whether it just be the information that's accessible online. We're starting to see it day in, day out.
Yeah.
And it's having a massive impact on people's life. And I think it's really important, before we even get into what actually are them and what are they, and what do they do? These drugs have been around for years. Like, this isn't just something new that's popped up. They were always around, but they've just become so accessible to general population. When the people that we are speaking to today, we're not coming on to be like talking about the medical cases of people that are type 2 diabetics, what they were originally designed for. We're coming on to go general population females. This is the risk and this is what they're experiencing. And it's our duty of care to make sure that we're looking after you.
For sure. So will we get down into the nitty-gritty of it? So for anybody that doesn't know what GLP-1 agonists are, they are a type of medication, an injectable medication that helps with suppression of the appetite and sugar control, basically, within the bloodstream. As Nat had said, they were created to help people with type 2 diabetes, or metabolic syndromes, control such metabolic syndromes. Now, the amazing thing about this GLP-1, right? See, your body's smart, right? Your body produces GLP-1 naturally when you consume enough protein, right? And it can naturally produce that for up to 4 hours, right? And the next thing is with GLP-1, it slows down the digestive tract.
Yeah.
Fibre does that naturally, right? So if we were to look into that, and then we look at fats that are in your diet, consuming the right amount of fats, that helps increase the amount of GLP-1s that are produced. So if you're eating a really balanced diet, your body's doing that naturally. We then look at fermented foods, which you see probably not so much in the Western world, but you can get them in loads of places, by the way. Things like kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, yogurts, natural yogurts and things like that help with your microbiome, which helps keep GLP-1 up as well. I think that it is so important that people actually know that your body does this.
Yes.
Right? And when you eat a nourishing diet, what you're injecting into yourself, your body will do it for you.
And I think it's looking at as well what you can take away that can help increase it, by looking at limiting your sugar intake, prioritising your sleep, managing your stress, which is all going to help your body's natural production of it. So much of it's in your control.
Exactly. And I think that that's a big thing for me, is the concern that I have is, I would say, what have we been coaching together? 30 years? 30 fucking years!
It's mad when you put it like...
So Naz has been coaching for almost 10 years in November. Is it 10 years in November? Wow.
That's a wee bit bonkers.
You get an award for that. What do we think? Should Nats get an award for coaching for 10 years? If she got...
You absolutely trump me here. So you do...
20 years.
20 years of coaching.
Right, and I would say, for me personally, this is the thing that has come along that has, in the past 20 years, shocked me, because there were things like skinny teas, fat burners, and what's the most recent one? Fat freezing. You heard of that? Fat freezing waist trainers.
Mad.
Shaky plate.
Remember I always think hers was just the shaky plate.
Well,
Mad.
oh, right, around. Yeah, so for me, I feel like I have seen everything come and go. This is the one that, I mean, like literally people are falling over me in the gym to say to me, I'm about to take this.
It's the one that's sticking.
It's sticking. It really is. And I think that it's an injectable drug.
And I think this is the thing with it sticking, it's just getting chucked about quite flippantly.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember exactly what you've said. It's an injectable drug, right? If we were talking about injecting ourselves with any other drug, would we just freely say, okay, it's all right, I'll just go into those skinny jabs?
Aye.
You wouldn't, because you'd be like, oh my God, this is a drug that I'm putting into my body. And I think when we were talking about coming on and doing this, there's people that need to inject themselves to stay alive. Right? They would absolutely love not to have to do daily injections, but they do it because it keeps them alive. And it's going, oh, this is a choice that we're injecting a drug because we believe it's a solution to our problems.
And where does that come from? I think like this is the big thing, and we won't get like knee deep in it just now because I think that
Feel like that.
honestly we could fast forward into this, and I mean genuinely, guys, I have a lot of information here. I'm like, I feel like a journalist on this one, to be fair, because I do want to present as much of the right information as I can to you. I think that one of the big things is like the observations that we've had is that there is rising obesity rates despite these being brought in to general population. We're looking at an 8.5% increase in people living in the UK with obesity and overweight just now. And these drugs have been brought in as the solution. And it just begs the question, if these drugs are being brought in, general population are taking them, and we're still seeing an 8.5% increase in people living with overweight and obesity, what's going wrong here?
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing is it's the root cause that we're not getting to. And I think like this is a big thing with society today. We are so Amazon based. What's that called? What do you call it? As Amazon what?
An Amazon society.
Aye, an Amazon society, you say. And I think like we want everything yesterday.
Yes.
And my concern is that with these types of medications are, if you're not the person that researches it, that thinks about what do I need to do to be the healthiest version of myself as I can on this, then what are going to be the repercussions of it? And I think like that's a big concern, because the power that we have as human beings is being put in the hands of the pharmaceutical industry. And I hope that today, when we speak about all of these things, that this gives everybody the opportunity of a really informed decision on the choices that they're going to make.
Yeah, I think we see the pros. The pros are put to us time and time again. This is what could be. This is what can happen.
Yeah.
This is how you're going to feel. And it's like that shiny penny. It's just like dangling a carrot. Yeah, it's like, this is going to be great. But what's not shown is the long-lasting effects.
Yeah.
The cons that could happen. And if anything comes of today, if anyone is watching this, taking it, thinking about taking it, we just want you to be able to know this is what you could get. But this is also what is going to be happening in your body when you're putting a drug that's not meant to be in there into your body.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Huge. So thank you for that. I think what we've observed as coaches, I think it's important that we speak about this. And I was up in my gym in Paisley yesterday and I met someone for the first time, most lovely, bubbly, gorgeous lady. And one of the first things that she said to me was, I'm desperate. I'm thinking about going on the jabs. I'm not going to say what she said, what one it was she said. And I went like that to her, right, hold on a minute. And this lovely lady has been going through the menopause. And straight away, my thought process went, please God, do not do that, right? And the reasons for that being, Nat's, holy moly, what happens to the female body when they start going through the menopause?
So naturally, estrogen, progesterone and testosterone levels all are naturally starting to decline as you're going through menopause. So your body's risk naturally of muscle loss when not strength training is heightened. In turn, your risk of osteoporosis, brittle bones, is increased due to the lack of muscles. Starving your body at that point and injecting yourself with a skinny jab is going to suppress your appetite. That means you're not going to be hungry. So therefore, the amount of food that you're consuming is going to be massively reduced. But what happens over time when your body needs energy? We're a body, we need energy to be able to function. Is that's then naturally going to target your muscle to be able to get the amino acids to use as energy. So if you're a menopausal female that is thinking about taking this, already you've got menopause that's giving you a wee bit of a rough time on the muscle. You're then injecting yourself with these skinny jabs, which is then making your starvation ultimately, which is using your muscle as an energy source. So you're getting a double dunter of muscle loss coming into play, which massively, and we'll go on to talk about this in a little bit, impacts your quality of life.
Yeah.
And that's where the genuine concern comes from. Like, muscle is king.
Yeah.
Queen in this situation, right? So that's the first thing that we've got to look at when it comes to that menopause side of it. But also muscle loss is massively going to happen regardless of whether you're menopausal or not.
Yeah.
Taking this, and I think it's important to look at that as even when your hormones are on your side and you're injecting yourself, you're going to face a similar muscle loss, which is only going to make that harder. When you get to menopausal stages, when you've lost so much going into that, is then going to have the same effect. So I feel like that's a massive thing that probably for me ignites the passion of needing to talk about this, because it's how our body functions.
I think what you're touching on there is you're so right. I think that we see the back end of it where women haven't strength trained and they come to us maybe in their 50s and their 60s and they're struggling with frailty, and that is without something like this. Now, what you did say was like you're going to see muscle loss. Now, we will talk at the end about if you are deciding to continue taking this, and if you're educated enough and you have done your research on how to hold on to it the best that you can, because we're not going to change anybody's. Do you know what? I hope we do change our mind. I'm just going to put that out there. We might not change anybody's mind, but just to kind of touch base on what you had said about we're going to see that muscle loss, it's very likely you are going to see that muscle loss if you're consuming the right amounts of proteins. So just want to kind of put that out there before anybody shoots us down their flame.
Sorry.
Yeah, so just
to maintain it too.
Yeah. So what we want to look at is kind of the risks associated. Now, I condensed these into maybe 6. However,
Shivs has a short novel in front of her right now, guys.
These are the risks associated with the physical risks associated with taking this drug that I feel like maybe not everybody's talking about. So yes, there are the plus points for a lot of people. We've got the very quick weight loss, people feeling a bit more in control when it comes to their compulsions around food. I think that a lot of people potentially are using these. They have already struggled with diet or staying on track or maybe staying motivated in the past, and these are potentially a way for them to kind of regain potentially some sort of power or some sort of control. Are you regaining the power and control, or are you giving it to something else? I think there's kind of maybe an ethical side on that kind of throws off. But what I would say is, so if at any point someone is taking one of these skinny jabs, you can see up to 40% reduction in lean mass. Now, we think lean mass is muscles, right? Lean mass is bone, right? Muscle is hard for women to keep a hold of, and it's hard for women to grow without the right recipe. Bone, you can't grow your bone back, right? I'm sorry, right? You can maintain bone density levels, but you can't grow your bone back. And I had read about, I can't actually remember her name and I wish I'd written it down. It was a Giddle in the States. She was I think she was a singer or something like that. And a record label had told her that she didn't look the right way, you know, and she had to lose weight, and they put her on these jabs for 1 year, and she was on stage and she broke a bone, and she went to the clinic and they told her that her bones were like chalk dust. And she was honestly like, she did a live on like her social media, and she just came out of like the doctor's surgery, young, 25-ish, And she was genuinely breaking her heart, crying, saying, I cannot believe that I've done this to my body. And I think the fear attached to it for me right now is general population, but our Giddles, our young Giddles, it is everywhere on their social medias.
Yeah. And if you think for that girl herself being, what did you say, 25-ish?
Aye.
There or thereabouts. The age of her bones was probably at least double, if not triple that.
Yeah.
And these kind of things you can expect to see in later stages of life when you're not as active, when your quality of life is starting to deteriorate at that later stage. But that's something that at these ages should not be happening. But it's a direct impact of what you're injecting yourself with.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to look at. And it goes the same, we're talking about the hormone disruption that can come from taking these injections. We spoke on, I think it might have been like the 6th episode or something of like the first block about how much a regular menstrual cycle was a sign of good health. The hormone disruption as a result of this is taking away periods because your body just is not functioning the way that it should be. And I think it worries me as to later down the line, the complications that could come from that, particularly for young general population girls that have a current healthy BMI that are injecting themselves because they want to be skinny.
Yeah.
And it's what they're doing just now is going to have an impact on it. But what's the coming later years for that, for their hormone health? It's terrifying.
It is, it really is. And I think we've got to protect our girls. I think like one of the things that I spoke about was a lot of mums are using this. A lot of mums that we know are using this and their daughters are seeing it and it's normalising it. And I wonder if the daughter was to come to the mum and say, Mum, I'm going to use this, would the reaction be different to what it is when they're using it themselves? And I just think your kids watch everything that you do, and your wee people, they're so impressionable. And what are we teaching them when we're not teaching them about health, we're teaching them about band-aids. And don't get me wrong, like I totally get there's maybe room for everything for specific reasons, but general population, girls that have got a stone to lose, right, or a couple of stone that you could actually do in a healthy manner and be empowered, but maybe are struggling because you've tried everything and nothing is working. And I get the desperation side of things. I totally get it. But what I really hope above all else from doing this podcast is that we get the message out there that there's things that you can do and you can empower yourself. And
we know the impact that, like when we were talking about seeing our mums come up, exercise nutritionally, we know the impact that is of me remembering sitting in a church hall while my mum went to watchers. You remember your mum going to different classes. There are young people that are going to grow up remembering their mum injecting themselves with a drug to be skinny through choice. And I think that's
there's weight in it.
Huge.
There's weight in it. There really, really is. Now, this is a long list, but I think it's important that we chat it through. Now, I have an all right memory. You'll remember, and maybe I haven't. This episode hasn't been released yet, but I talk about when my hormones are a wee bit in the funny side that I get a bit forgetful. So I'm there, right? I'm a wee bit there. So what we're looking at is the risks associated: 40% lean mass loss, hormonal imbalances, which we've spoken about, low sex drive, osteopenia, osteoporosis, sarcopenia, which is muscle loss, frailty, weakness, hair loss, blood pressure dysregulation, which is something one of our members who is a nurse is seeing huge amounts of under 25s coming in with high and low blood pressure because of this.
Yeah, taking up a lot of like their nurse appointments within surgery just now because what they're experiencing, which says predominantly in young girls, and it's high and low blood pressure. It's not just going one way in particular. And she says she's finding that quite hard to be able to manage, because it's not just managing high and low blood pressure in someone that is just functioning daily. it's managing high and low blood pressure with someone that's injecting themselves with these skinny jabs that they're not really sure the impact that it's having on a general population person that doesn't need to be taking it.
Yeah, definitely. That is. We're looking at, obviously, the problems that a lot of people are getting when it comes to their gallbladder. Now, this is pretty huge. So basically, when you take this medication, it slows down the elimination pathway. So what that basically means is it slows down the amount you shit, right? That's it in a nutshell, right? And it slows that down. It slows down gastric emptying. Now, what that looks like is the bile flow doesn't happen at the same level, right? And then there can be more risks of things like gallstones and gallbladder disease. Now, that's absolutely mental. You see the amount of women that we coach in the gym that are in absolute agony. They're waiting for these operations. When I'd spoken to our guest about when she was put in hospital, she had said this is exactly what the young girl that was the same age as her was having to get done. And she had to live with the pain. She wasn't allowed to come back into hospital because if she get re-hospitalised, she went to the bottom of the list again. So you're having to live with this pain. And what are the members like that struggle with this? Like they're debilitated. They can't function. They can't function. They can't come to the gym. They can't eat properly. So this is a byproduct. This is one of the biggest risks associated with it.
You go that pain point, physical pain, to the emotional pain that gets you involved to make the informed decision to start taking the jabs as a direct result, that physical pain. I think that leads us on to then the increase in anxiety and depression.
This is a big one for me. As you know, like I am massive advocate for gut health. And I think, again, we've spoken potentially in another podcast about where your happiness hormones come from. So your dopamine and your serotonin are created in your gut. They're metabolised in your gut. And they're metabolised by the microbes that are in there when you feed them. So when people aren't eating, those microbes aren't being fed. Has anybody ever been hangry? Right?
Daily.
Right, daily. Me too. Right? But these GLP-1s, they stop you getting hungry. Do they stop you getting pissed off? I actually don't know. Do they? No? We've got my wee guest in the corner. She's still pissed. But so you don't get hungry, you just get pissed. Yeah. So realistically, are they having quite a negative effect on mental health? And the studies are showing that, let me get this right because I don't want to talk shit here. Oops, I swore.
That's 2 strikes today.
Oh no, but I've got 3 F-bombs. I'm allowed to have 3 F-bombs, you've told me today.
3 only and then she's out.
That's it. And then she's presenting all on her own.
I'll correct the jokes.
Right, let me get this right. There is an increase in anxiety, an increase of loss of lust for everything on these medications, right? So like your energy to go to the gym, which is a mood booster.
Yep.
Your lust to see other people, which is a mood booster because we're meant to connect with other people. Those things reduce. And as we fall back into ourselves and we isolate ourselves, we are meant to connect as humans, right? Does that then have that knock-on effect of your gut health has been disrupted, your social life has been disrupted? Are we leading into another way for people to become really, really anxious?
Oh, lastly, think about your phone when it was on low power mode. It can just about do the basics. Your body is in low power mode when you're taking these jabs.
That is bloody brilliant. Touch.
I know what.
That was amazing.
It's true.
That was the even by the way.
Think about your body, right? It needs fuel. It needs fuel to be able to do the great stuff. We've got the basic amount of nourishment that we need to get through day-to-day life. When we are performing at that basic, we probably feel at our worst.
Yep.
Right? We've then got stages of nourishment and fuel that allows us to do all these things. But everyone is operating, that is injecting themselves with us at that absolute basic level and missing out this entire life that we could actually have. And again, it's the tip of the iceberg. You can get to the number on the scale that you want, or that thing that you've so desired that you thought you wanted. You might get there, but it's the life that you thought you would get when you get there. actually going to happen when that's the method that you've been using to get there.
Exactly. And I think like that's a big thing. I think that when you get fit and you get healthy and you get well and you get energised and you feed your body well, you're like, I am unstoppable.
Massive.
And I don't know that through speaking to quite a lot of people in both of the gyms that are using these, I'm knackered, I've got low energy, I don't want to stop taking them because I'm losing weight, I'm not sleeping well, I can't stop pooing, I've been sick, I feel nauseous, I've got headaches, I'm not fun to be around, I don't want to have sex anymore. Like these are the things that we are hearing from women, and all just to be thin.
Well,
what has society done is?
This is the absolute thing though, because see, when you hear about the reason why, I just want to get to, and I'm going to use a random number here, right? I just want to get to 11 stone. Like, it's always been my thing. I just need to get there. And it's like, when have you ever looked at a picture in your life and been like, oh my God, that holiday was brilliant. I was 11 stone 1 there, felt great. Have you? Fuck, you've went, like...
Yes! She did it in the first step.
Right, you look at a picture and you go, I felt great there. I'm raging, I've done that, man.
Well, was it?
Sorry, Mum, I'm going to get into trouble for that when she listens.
Who's going to get you into trouble? Lily?
We've got one of our members, wee Giddles, likes to give us into trouble when there's a wee bad word that's been said. Oh, that was me. Anyway, do you know what? It's for a really meaningful part, because I feel strongly passionate about the fact that, I don't know, did you notice? Can't be a bit raging. That no one ever looks in a picture and looks at that. They look in a picture and remember the memories, how good they felt and what they were able to do. See people going on holiday right now, getting to that goal weight that they've wanted to get to, injecting themselves. Are they going to be able to do everything they wanted to do on that holiday energetically? Probably not.
Yeah. And will they go on holiday and stop using the drug? Does that happen? I don't know.
Like, you probably got like a split camp there, depending on the reasons for getting into it. I think though what's likely to happen regardless, as you go on a holiday and food is going to consume that entire
and alcohol,
right? In terms of regardless of, look at this two ways, right? If you're still injecting while you're away, your appetite will still be suppressed, but your actions potentially aren't going to be in line with that, like cocktail galore, probably going to happen to come in. But see, if you're not injecting, when you go away, you're still going to be overeating, consuming alcohol, all that. How much of that holiday is that going to be in your head? What am I eating? What am I putting on? How am I looking? How does that feel? That absolute takeover from that.
And what you're going to come back to. I think one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, so we're talking about obviously the things that we're seeing, like within the gyms, the inability to get through a workout. What is that like?
It's terrifying as a coach.
And we're not talking about older members. We're talking about young girls that are coming in and they can't complete a 30-minute circuit in curves.
Like a wide range to the point that they are experiencing nearly fainting episodes. To the point that that's where they're lying on a floor with their feet in the air.
And is that health?
No.
Is that well-being? Is that strong? Is that what we're empowering our girls to do?
And that is that when it comes to that whole dying to be skinny culture of...
And where the hell did this come from? And what fucking bullshit is this? Honestly, I feel like I'm going to get upset about it, because that is not good enough. It's not good enough. And honestly, our women deserve so much better than this.
When you look at health, and I think this is the thing that annoys us and makes us so passionate as coaches, is not the people that's taking it, right? And it's so important, because the people that are taking it aren't the people that brought this onto the market, right? But the fact that people feel the need to do it, I don't believe this is a threat to ever getting rid of gyms within the industry at all, right? For anyone that's going, oh, that's maybe coming from a point of what does that mean for gyms and business? Absolutely not. But this can be the way that we continue to go on. There is answers, there are solutions. And the most important thing, there's help and support. And it comes through desperation. But as a coach, your job is to be the solution and to show that, do you know what, you do have the power. We come in to this earth, the lucky ones, not having to inject yourself, right? Type 1 diabetics, of course, have got that life-changing fact that they need to do that. But we come in not having to inject ourselves. We come in as a baby. Our parents nourished us. They gave us everything that we needed.
If we were lucky.
From good sleep. If we were lucky, of course, from good sleep to the right nourishment that we needed. And that carried through with us we get to a point where that starts to go because food comes into play as an addiction.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's when the tables turn and we start thinking that these are the solutions that need to come in. What was your stat earlier that you threw out about how many, every 3 minutes?
So I've feel like I'm a journal on this. I've not stopped. Every 3 minutes there is a Google search in the UK for how can I lose weight fast.
Yeah.
Fast being the operative word. Every 3 minutes. People are absolutely desperate. And this is the biggest thing for me with these jabs is I believe with every bit of my heart that every single person on this earth is strong and is empowered.
Yep.
They're stripping people's power away.
Yeah.
They're becoming reliant on taking something to look a certain way because expectation potentially from social media has led them to think that that's the way they need to look. And that's not the case. So what we've got here is we've got this huge circle, right? So we've got social media saying, oh, look, I look amazing. This is what I'm doing. Da, 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 da. Then we've got your ultra-processed foods, which are leading to food addictions and people. So your ultra-processed foods, so that's big food. Big pharma are coming up with the solutions. And then you've got social media teaching people that this is how to do it. What is this demonic culture that we are living in? How is this allowed to be? Why is nobody looking at it?
Let's be honest, social media is not teaching, social media is marketing.
It is. And you know what? You actually said something the other day that blew my mind, right? You were like, the two old forms of social media that are out there.
The
right?
OGs.
Yeah, the OGs. And then this new one that all the young ones are looking at. It is literally like a mixture of them both. It is a business. It's a massive business. But what it got for me is this one that everybody's on right now. I mean, that's we refuse it. We refuse it, right? This one that everybody's on just now, this 15-second, whatever it is, it's ultra-processed social media. It is absolutely tanking children up to adults, dopamine levels. You're getting dopamine burnout from it. So what's happening is it's ultra-processed social media creating a bubble in people's lives that everybody's taking these jabs and it's amazing and it's fantastic and we're becoming desensitized. We're seeing it all of the time, right? We are then becoming desensitized to it. We are then taking action on being desensitized to it. The food companies are selling us ultra-processed foods. We're getting hooked on it. The pharmaceuticals are giving us the solution. And then the social media is saying, it's amazing.
1, 2, 3, mic drop. It's hitting the pain point, right? We spoke about that earlier. Like that big social media outlet just now's job is to hit every single one's pain point to get to the point that someone makes a buying decision, regardless whether it be skinny jabs, whether it be the next new product, brand, whatever. That sole purpose is to get you to absolutely buy in.
Yeah.
And so when you think about this, though, like everyone's decision is about the weight loss that we spoke about. Remember, a couple of episodes ago we spoke about everyone gets into it thinking it's for weight loss that they actually want, but it's everything else, and that's what you're not looking at. Everything else that you actually don't even realise that you need, from good sleep hygiene, good quality of life, good nutrition, like hydration, hormone balance, all that great stuff. Nobody's even paying attention to that. They're just going, oh, that's what I think I want, let's go and let's get it. And we'll talk about how easily accessible shortly, which is a more terrifying part of it.
And that's the ethical side of things.
A cheek to say it's prescribed, let me tell you.
Yes. Anyway.
Absolutely went off and one.
We did. Oh my God. But do you know what? I hope you can see where our passions come from. And sorry for getting upset, but this is, I told you that would happen, didn't I?
Also at that point in our cycle,
we might just cry just because. But no, I think that that's a great point. A point in the podcast that we would absolutely love to bring in our special guest. Now, the guest is my niece, Sky, who I absolutely adore and love. And 4 weeks ago, I got a phone call from her dad to tell me that she was in hospital because of this. And I went, fucking enough. It was the absolute point where I went, I will not be a bystander anymore. I'm done with this bullshit, and we have got to educate as many girls as we can, because young girls at 25 are not who this drug was manufactured for.
No.
You could argue that it wasn't for anybody at all, but we're just going to go down that line. So we're going to bring Sky in just a little second. We're going to take a little break so we can get a wee drink of water, aren't we? Because we're like being it loud. And we'll see you in just a wee sec. Right, so welcome back. We are sitting here with my lovely niece Sky, who is 24.
Yes.
And as I had just said previously, Sky was recently hospitalised due to the use of these injectable weight loss drugs. And I wanted to get a real life chat on what your experience was and what happened, what led you to take these, what the outcome was, because I think it's really, really important, not just for us to go at that, oh, this is the potential risks, but it's important to hear it from massive proverbial horse's mouth. So, Skies, for you, when was the first time that you had actually heard about these jabs?
So it was probably back in like August last year. The first time it was ever mentioned to me, it was actually my friend that I work with's dad that got put on them from the NHS. And she was like, oh, have you heard about these new things? My dad's actually getting them. You can lose weight in them. I'm going to try and get it. And so that was the first time I'd kind of heard of it. But I thought it was like an NHS thing. It was only for like people with obviously diabetes and stuff. But then a few weeks went by, a few of my friends and a few of my colleagues started talking about it. Especially one of the girls that I'm friends with and work with, she said that she had got it like, someone was doing it for her. Like she didn't have it in her house or anything. She was having to go to like a salon or something, and that's where she was getting it done.
Okay.
So, and then my close friends, they started kind of taking it as well. And yeah, it feels like it just went massive.
Right. Okay.
Like overnight.
And that was from like August last year.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. On you go.
What would you say, like, when you first heard about, like, your friends and, like, your work colleagues starting to take it? What was your initial thoughts at that point?
My initial thoughts, I was scared for them. It was more the fact that it is an injectable drug. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? All of you are just at home injecting this stuff? Like, what is going on?
See, when you say that, it's mad.
Like, how is this even happening? But yeah, it was scary to start off with. I wasn't for it at all at the start. But then I think it gets more normalised on social media, all that type of stuff, and you just get convinced, basically.
That it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So to go back then, like your friends all started taking it.
Yeah.
What age are your friends?
It's same age as me, like 24, 26 type of, all under 20s anyway.
A lot of weight to lose?
No, probably not.
How much we're talking here?
Most of my friends probably wanting to lose like 2 stone at the most.
Right, so £28, right? And so for them, like, what would be your observation for them? Like them saying, right, okay, we're going to take this. Why is that the thing that they were going to do instead of like looking at their nutrition or going to the gym or doing it like all of these things?
Yeah.
What was the draw?
I honestly think it's the fact it's easy. Like most of my friends have babies and stuff, and they're all like, I don't have time to be going to gyms and like meal prepping and doing all this. So yeah, it is an easy fix. It is, well, to me it was. That's the way I'm just like, oh, I'll just do this for a wee few weeks and I'll be fine. Like, and it's not the case at all.
Had any of them ever had prior experience in a gym, training, lifestyle choices or anything like that?
Probably not, really, to be honest. Maybe like wee classes here and there, but none of us are like gym girls.
Yeah, okay, that's really, really interesting. So you had said there, right, so first thing you heard about them, August last year, through kind of NHS, a friend from work, dad was like taking them. She was like, oh, actually, I think like I'll maybe start taking them. And then your friends a wee bit closer to home started taking them. You were still a kind of firm no at that point?
Absolutely, I was, yeah.
How many months did it take from you being an absolute firm no to injecting yourself in the house?
It's August to March.
Okay.
1st of March was the first time I
September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So 7 months of exposure
Yep.
and normalisation and desensitisation, because it is everything all over what?
It's just it's all over every bit of social media I have.
Right.
Like everywhere, every influencer that I follow, they're all doing it. Like, and it's not even people in different countries and stuff. It's people in Scotland that you relate to. So you think, oh, if they're doing it, then maybe it's all right.
Yes.
Influencers have a job to be a role model for like younger generation. What did you notice? See, in that 7-month period, what did you notice in your friends in that friend group? What was happening?
Well, obviously they were losing weight, which they were absolutely buzzing about. Like, who wouldn't be buzzing that they're losing weight so fast? But I think you start to see the, like you were saying earlier about you don't really want anything.
Yes.
Like you're not thinking like what am I going to eat today? Like, and that's such a normal thing for people. You need to think about what you're eating that day. So see, just not like food isn't in your head. See, people talk about like food noise. Like you literally are not even, but you're not even thinking about, oh, maybe I should go get a drink of water. It's as if that full part of your brain is just shut down.
Okay.
It's crazy.
And see with that then, what do you think that, even like if we have this conversation just now, Naz, and you can come in as well, Sky, like what is the repercussions of not having any sort of an appetite, whether it be for food or water or for life or for anything? What's the repercussions of that? It's frigging terrifying. Like, you know, and I think, see, to circle back on what you were saying there about it being all over your social media, like woman up. See, if you're one of these people punting this, woman up. It's no good enough.
I just can't get influencers in a position they're in to be a role model, to inspire the younger generation, to show people what they can actually do, and the way that they're choosing to do that is through telling them, inject yourself. Like, they're in such a powerful position, right? Don't get me wrong, like, I think it's important. Influencers run their business on social media, right? But to use it in such a way that is telling our young people, it's fine, just inject yourself. And as you said earlier, Sky, if that was talking about injecting yourself with any other drug, oh my God, imagine the backlash.
Imagine it'd be all over the newspapers. It would be like everybody they'd be getting shut down, all of these things.
But as we talk about the point that you made as well, Sky, it's like totally just desensitises that this is actually a really abnormal thing to do. Like, this isn't for general population. This is to be prescribed by a doctor for people in type 2 diabetic situations, was when it was originally created for. But the point that it's now on social media that much, like, it only took you 7 months from the point of, oh my God, that is terrifying, to quite normal. That's
So I think that that's the first part of it. Like wow, like mind blown, right? So from absolutely not to absolutely aye in 7 months, right? Through all of that overexposure. I want to talk about the thing that I find extremely unethical is the way this is prescribed or can be prescribed. Don't get me wrong, I have found some channels that are potentially prescribing this, and I'm going to put this in these what's the word?
more ethically correct way.
More ethically correct way, yeah. They're maybe taking blood tests and they're doing this and they're doing that. Firstly, I don't even know if I feel like that's ethical, but I would say it's more ethical than the things that we looked at.
Unfortunately, though, they're in the minority.
They're in the minority, yeah. So they're maybe like actually having phone consultations and all of these kind of things, right? I would love for you, without saying the name of the company that you went with, Sky, to tell me how you went about getting them, what you had to do on the website to get these, and your experience on that. That would be great.
Okay, so see, to be honest, when I went on to order this, I still didn't know whether I really wanted to do it.
Okay.
I was like, maybe I'll try, see if they accept me. I assumed I wouldn't be accepted because, like,
because you're perfect.
I did have a healthy BMI. I know it's crazy to say, but I still wasn't sure whether I wanted it or not when I applied for it. So anyway, went on to the website. It's literally just like a form. It's like put your name. Didn't ask me my age. Didn't ask to see ID, anything like that. Just asked for my name, my weight, and my height. And then asked me a few health questions, like whether I had gallstones and stuff previous. So completed that. It said, obviously with my right height and weight, it said no to start off with. So then I'm like, what if I just add a few pounds on, maybe take an inch off my height? Will it work then? And it did. So then I got onto the next page and it said, like, your order has been placed, but we still need to basically confirm it. So then I got an email saying, can you send us a picture of you? So, but there wasn't it needs to have like a timestamp or anything on it of what date or anything. So stupid me went back like maybe about 2 years ago when I was a bit bigger, like probably about the weight I'd put in on the website.
Yeah.
So then I sent that photo in and I was accepted within half an hour and it was on the way.
Okay. Now, the interesting thing about this, I was actually speaking to somebody else recently that a few of her friends are on it, and she says that they've done the exact same thing as what you've done. So there's no control measures here. I went on and I put in 5 different weights onto the same website within the same checkpoint, and then it allowed me in. So yes, you can see that some people, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. Like,
No,
realistically, you shouldn't be doing that, right? But if you're desperate for something, you're going to do whatever it takes. And the fact that it allows you to do that, there is no controlled measure. There is an ethical standpoint on that. But to circle back to what I was going to say about the person that was speaking to, our friends are on it. They are sending pictures where they have stuffed cushions up their tops, sent those pictures in, and they're being accepted. What level of bullshit is that?
So can I just double check? See, when you put in your picture, there's no way that you need to send like a picture of like a passport, driving licence, nothing.
To say this is who you are.
Yeah, so it could have been anyone.
How can you say that was prescribed?
Could this be a 12-year-old girl doing that?
It could absolutely be.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, you could be putting absolutely anything in there, and as long as you've got a payment method, you're going to be able to get it.
From an ethical standpoint, we need to do better and we need to stand up to this. It is not good enough. It's not good enough for humans. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough for our girls to be able to come up with us.
Are you seeing sales links on social media platforms that you're seeing it coming up on?
Yes.
Click this link and you can get it.
Yes. So
That's danger.
the first order I got an email saying that this is your code. If you refer people, you'll get money off your next order.
So what did you call this? Yes,
Let's get a club card for weight loss jabs. Nearly said the word again. Imagine, like, honestly, it's like a Costa Coffee app. Buy 10 coffees, get one free.
Yeah.
Buy 10 weight loss injections, give you one for free. Since when did we give drugs for free?
And then the next thing, when you'd been on them for 5 weeks,
5 weeks, yeah.
and you went on to get the next dose.
Yes.
And the dose up was the same price. It was promoted, this is the same price to you.
Yep.
And then you bought that and that was a dose up. Yeah. And what happened when you dosed up? So firstly, you were fine.
Yeah.
You were absolutely fine.
I was fine the first 5 weeks.
Right, hang on, pause that thought.
Yeah.
Saturday to Thursday.
Yep.
What did you eat?
Nothing. Like I knew I had to get something into me. Like I wasn't enjoying the fact I was eating nothing, but putting food into my mouth, it made me feel sick. Like, so I was drinking like the protein drinks or day drinks, and it's like, this is food. Like see like ones like all the wee drinks and stuff, and I'm like, right, at least if I get that into me, then I've got some calories and stuff in me.
Where you physically can't eat.
I hear that so much that people say that food gives them the boat.
The smell of it as well. See, I couldn't even go into like restaurants.
And this was the smallest dose as well. I think the lowest you can be administered, right? So the lowest you can be administered, and I get that this lowest amount that can be administered was based upon your body weight being higher. I get this, right? So I'll understand that fully, right? So that's what you did. So you lived on protein drinks and you were getting the bulk with food, and you couldn't go into restaurants. You were pushing your dinner away at the dinner table. Yeah. You weren't eating at your work, you told me as well. And then, so you would take it on the Saturday.
Yep.
By the Friday, can you share with the listeners what would happen?
By Friday, that was me. I was getting hungry again because that was the day before I inject again. So, like, when I went into work on a Friday, everyone's like, "Oh, Sky, you eating today?" And it was like a joke, like about how, because I hadn't ate all week, because Friday was my day of eating. So then me and my friends would be like, right, what takeaway are we getting tonight? Because we knew that was like our one night that we'd be able to kind of eat. We still couldn't really eat. You should see the amount of food we wasted over the weeks.
And you bought like masses of, like, and it was like almost like ready for a binge.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like, oh, we'll go buy all this stuff. Then it sits in front of you and you're like, oh God, I can't eat any of this. Like, but that was what, like, we had like Fat Fridays. Like, that's what our thing was.
It's terrifying not to feel hungry.
Yeah.
Like, it's naturally meant to happen.
Yeah. It's just unusual. Did you, and like, be honest on this, because I'm not going to lead you into anything, like, did you feel different within yourself at all?
Well, see, I'm a massive foodie. Like, I get excited over food and all the different foods and stuff. So see, not thinking about food at all, I didn't really know what to do with myself. Like, see, because obviously I was living with myself at the time. I'd go my weekly food shop and I'd like plan my meals and stuff out. I wasn't doing that. I wasn't even going to a food shop. Like, I was just like sitting back, and it's so strange to look back at how quick it all changed in my head. Like, as if that's normal. It's normal to not go to a food shop. No, it's not. It's not
normal.
No,
It's not normal. It definitely isn't. Okay, so from there, you had mentioned something to me when we were chatting this week about, like, big time seeing it on your social media. It was everything that you'd saw. So, like, you know yourself, your social media is a byproduct of the things that you're looking at most. And you actually hadn't realised that.
No.
So we'd been chatting about that. But I want you to talk to me about the girls that you're seeing on social media, what they're doing, and that thing that you told me about, the golden dose. Tell me about that.
So the golden dose, so when you get your pen, your jab pen, you've got 4 doses in it, but then there's also there's stuff left over after the 4 doses, so that's called your golden dose.
And this has been coined by the people on
that's like a TikTok thing. Like, everyone talks about it, the golden dose. So, but you can't use the pen to get it out, so you have to go buy needles to draw the liquid out to get it. So, see, to be honest, I think that was like a big point for me. See, when I was like, I need to go buy needles. Like, I'm like, what? Like, that was quite scary to me. I'm like, oh wow, this is real. Like, it's
because a pen's like
it's just
you know,
thing.
like,
Yeah. Then that was a full on like
golden
intense
dose.
The golden dose, it's called.
yeah.
I think there's actually for us.
I know. It's absolutely wild, and this is promoted as normal for our young females and males potentially. I imagine. I'm not entirely sure. As I said, I don't go into that social media.
It's not incentivising though to up your dose, because your body then becomes reliant on that golden dose. So it's then you need more.
Okay, right. So that happened then.
Yeah.
You went online and you went to buy your next lot.
Yep.
You put in the wrong height.
Yes.
What did they do? What did this company that is an online pharmacy that ethics, I'm sure, is at the absolute heart of what they do, what did they email you?
I got an email, hey Sky, we can see our system has flagged that you've put the wrong height this time compared to your first time. If you can send us an email of your correct height, we'll get your order sent out. So then they knew that, like, how can you get your height wrong? Obviously I lied the first time and then didn't put the right one in the second time, and so they still gave me a chance to correct that.
At that point, that should have been a massive alarm bell.
That's a
We need to
flag.
prove
Yeah.
what your actual height is. Yeah, this person could be manipulating our system. Yeah. Said, no, we'll encourage you. Do you know what? Maybe a wee mistake there. Pop in that right one and get that sent right out to you.
It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And the thing is, like, they played on your need,
Yeah.
right? And rightly or wrongly, like, I had said to Sky when I went up to see her in the hospital, I knew she would be shitting herself to see me.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely knew it. I'm a costume, I know. And I voice noted her before I went up, and I was like that. Honestly, I was like that. I had to voice note her, and I was like, I know that you're probably, no, I'm coming to see you, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no, don't come. And I swear, I was like, I am not going to judge you right now. I just want you to be safe and be all right because I love you deeply. And this is what I want for every woman to know, that see when we were chatting about this is coming from a place of love. But when I contacted you to say I was coming up, I imagine you were probably quite relieved getting that message. I was thinking, your ward past Gavin.
I know. Sounding the wrong word in that you're in. Sorry, no, but
But so let's go back. So you got this larger dose.
Yes.
Right. So you went from 2.5?
Yep.
To 5.
To 5, yeah.
Tell me what happened within the 24 hours of taking.
So I took it on the Monday.
Yeah.
By the Tuesday, it was in work on a Tuesday, and I was like, I really don't feel good. Like, pure sweating. And see, that's also a thing with the first 4 weeks when I was on the low dose, I was freezing all the time, frozen constantly, always wearing jumpers.
Not consuming any food.
Yeah. So then I was roasting. I was starting to feel sick and stuff.
Yeah.
By the Tuesday night, I could not stop being sick. Like, honestly, it was constant. I must have been sick about 20 times in one day, like constant. So didn't go to work the next day, was off work that full week, still couldn't stop being sick. I told my mum that I'd been taking the jabs, but when it got to the Saturday, she was like, Sky, is there something different with you? Like, have you done something? And I said to her that I had went up a dose. And she was like, what do you mean? I wish you'd told me this days ago. This could be serious. But I'm not going to lie, like, the days where I was in the house being sick, I was so worried about what... I was scared to go to a hospital because I'm like, what if I have done something here? What if I do need a gallbladder out or something like that? So went all the days, and then I finally told my mum that I'd doubled the dose, and she phoned NHS 24, and the minute my mum had mentioned that, they're like, no, get up to A&E instantly. Like, please get up straight away. As soon as I got up there, I was taken straight in. The first nurse that came through, she's like, oh, you the jabs girl? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, I'm not going to like give you trouble, but my daughter has just been through this exact thing, and she's in to get her gallbladder removed in the next 2 weeks, so you need to go off of these right now. Please listen to me. And she was also like, I obviously hope nothing like that does happen. Yeah. So I was in A&E, got bloods taken, multiple different bloods taken. I had the heart traces and all that on. I had antibiotics through a drip. I was put into the assessment kind of bit for like 2 days. To be honest, I thought I would have been in and out, like, because I thought I was just being sick. Like, I didn't realise what all that's actually doing to you inside. Like, I had no goodness in me whatsoever. My potassium was very, very low. I think that was the most worrying thing for them. Ended up getting put up to a ward, and ended up there for 6 days.
Mm-hmm. You were in there with all the oldies.
I know. Oh, they were all lovely. They really were. But oh my God. Days, see, it's the beeping in hospital. Oh my God, just beep, beep, beep. I'm like, can someone please turn that off? Like, I'm going insane.
But then, so they were doing lots of different tests on you. So they tested like all of your organs and stuff like that, like your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder. And luckily enough, there was no lasting damage.
Yeah, luckily
enough. While you were in the hospital, you received another email from the company asking what?
If I wanted to reorder my next dose, which was also the higher up one again.
Without any information about if she had lost weight, if anything had changed for her, if she had any side effects. I don't know if you've watched the programme Dope Sick, but that's ringing true to me. Let's push higher doses on people that we don't even know if they're well. She was lying in a hospital bed and they're telling her not only was the dose that she was on 2.5, nothing get checked before she went up to 5, and then another 2.5 milligrams is being pushed on her via an email while she's sitting in a hospital bed. Please tell me where the ethics of this company is coming in, because there is none. It is zero.
If this doesn't show you that money talks, then I don't know what does, man.
£72 billion made on these jabs so far. Money talks.
Is it 154% increase in profits since 2019, since they became readily available to general population?
Okay. It's absolutely insane. So that's Sky's kind of side of the story there. Your nurse had said to you, how often were they seeing this with young girls?
Multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Like, multiple times a day.
Why is that
in
not...
one hospital?
Yeah.
Like, that is...
See the pressure that must be putting on the healthcare system, though.
Yeah. And I think like this is a big part of it, because what a lot of people are saying is that these jabs are going to take lots of pressure off the NHS, because they're created to help with metabolic syndromes, so high blood pressure, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, strokes, high cholesterol. They're saying that they're helping those. Metabolic syndromes come around because people aren't looking after themselves metabolically. Right? So if we are not educating on how to look after yourself metabolically through exercise, through good diet, through less ultra-processed food, through sunlight, fresh air, meditation, breath work, if we're not teaching people how to do these things, we're teaching them to inject something. Is that fixing the problem? Or are we putting a Band-Aid on it? A £72 billion Band-Aid. So I think, like, for me, Sky, I would love for you to tell me, see if you had the chance to do this all again.
Yeah.
What would you tell yourself?
I would absolutely tell myself, if it says no, take no as no. Don't try and lie and manipulate it so that you get it, because if it's saying no, it means it for a reason. Like, that obviously, if you are healthy BMI, you're not meant to be taking this stuff, because it really damages you and really affects you. And see, these 6 days in hospital, I will not forget it. Like, honestly, it was awful, the worst time of my life. So, yeah, please, if you're not right for it, don't take it.
Yeah, of course. Now, one other thing that I just wanted to touch on briefly was you got into my car a couple of days ago after stopping taking these, and Sky, when I went into the hospital to see her, had said that I think you'd just been for a shower or something, and you said, I don't like how I look very gaunt and skinny. That's what you said, hadn't you? Said, I don't even know why I've done this. When you got in the car with me, what did you say to me after 4 weeks?
Straight away, I was like, I already feel massive again. That was my words. Okay. I feel massive. I feel, see, because I was used to not eating. See, when I'm hungry for 3 meals a day, I'm feeling like that's wrong. Like, I shouldn't be eating 3 meals a day. Like, why is that? Because I went 6 weeks not being able to eat anything to then wanting to eat 3 meals a day.
Getting upset with it. Oh, why is this being allowed to happen? Sorry. See if this isn't messing with young girls' mental health. I don't know what is. It's no good enough. Like, look at her. Right? She's bloody perfect. And for you to think that there's something wrong with eating because you've been using these injectable drugs and it's had that effect in your brain, and then you're feeling guilty about that, what could that lead to down the line? And Jesus Christ, like, I mean, you look amazing, and not like you genuinely do, and you just think, how many girls are going to be affected by this before something stops? Sorry, I'm going to take over.
There's zero rehab of taking this. I think that's really, really important to look at. They've brought this solution out for general population, regardless of your weight, your age, what's underlying within your body. Take this and it is going to be the solution to you. Everyone is going to reach a point in which they stop this, and nobody is given the solution as to what needs to happen when it stops. And then the impact that's then going to happen as a result of that on physical health, mental health, disordered eating, etc. Like, and that is what people's got to look at. Like we've said from the very, very start, we're not coming on here today to be like, right, everyone stop taking this. In Sky's situation, absolutely, because no young girl should be in a position that they feel like they need to inject themselves with a healthy BMI to literally die to be skinny. But anyone that is in the position where they watch this and they go, do you know what, that still lies with me and I'm still going to do that. It's about giving you the informed information of this is what you should do when you are taking it. This is what you should then start to look at doing when you don't take it. And the issue is none of that's there. So all that's going to happen is you inject yourself for a period of time. You then come off it. You go into this slump. You're then going to start injecting yourself again. And it is literally in a never-ending cycle that is going to keep lining these companies' pockets at the end of the day. And if you think that that's going to be the solution with zero education, we're just going to find ourselves in another 5 years' time sitting having a conversation where it's some other mad shit that we're then going to have to do just to get the bodies that we believe that we desire.
It's mental.
It's wild.
So thank you, Sky, for coming in and having a wee chat with us. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I really appreciate like how candid you've been around your answers and things like that. You've been absolutely brilliant. I know that coming on and speaking about something that you've done that maybe you regret isn't always the easiest thing to do, but I really, really hope that by coming on that you're going to have inspired other girls that are the same age as you, or maybe even older, younger, to make an informed decision. Honestly, like, I love you so much, and I'm just so grateful for you coming in and chatting with us today. Thank you. Problem.
So, to recap on the episode so far then, Shivs, we have looked at what are these skinny jabs, what do they do, and what ultimately are the pros and cons that come with them. And we've been really lucky where we could bring on Sky, who firsthand has got to experience that. And I think for us it was really important that we had that, because sitting across a table giving information on something we've not physically taken ourselves, we've seen lots of it happen day in, day out in the industry that we're in. To have that first-hand information I think is so valuable. And today was always about education. We've said from the start it was never coming on and judging anyone that was taking this, but I really hope to anyone that's listening that you've got a lot more information on the pros and the cons, and whether that would change the decision that you make when taking these injections. I hope now you can see what the bigger picture of it actually is. And we said at the start, this was not about twisting anyone's arm, this was about educating. And I think it's really important for us to look at, if you are in a position that you believe it is still what you want to do, how can you do that in the safest way possible?
Yeah, definitely. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to chat through things that, see, if we were to speak to one of our members in our clubs who's going to be taking this, and she was absolutely adamant, we would also say, like, please, like, is there anything that we could do to support you otherwise? But we're not the people that are going, like, you can't light a fire up under anybody, right? So these are the things that we would advise, and we would really push you to do this if you are going to continue to take these. And the first one would be is reduce your dose so you actually have an appetite. I think, like, this is the big thing. A lot of people are potentially starting on doses that are far too high, and I think that the best thing that you can do is lower your dose so you still have an appetite. You are meant to eat. We are humans. You're meant to eat. The things that we spoke about earlier on about protein and about fibre, so ensuring that you're consuming 1 gram of protein per pound of target body weight. So if your goal is getting to 10 stone, 140 grams of protein is what you're going to be aiming for. Now, whether or not you've got the appetite to do that is a big part of that.
Huge.
But we want to be able to maintain muscle mass, right? It's absolutely giant.
And remember that when you're doing this, you're not going to go from not having anything to hitting that straight away. Rome wasn't built in a day. I think if you can understand what the goal is and what the target is, have a small consistent plan of how you're going to build that up and how you're going to get there is massively important, because you're not going to go from a higher dose injection where you literally cannot consume anything. Like, I've been dealing with people in work that haven't ate in like 3 days.
And they're getting the bulk for eating and they're passing out. Like, what?
It's mad.
So
but start small, and if your goal is to get to 140 grams of protein to start off with, go, right, let's get to 50 and see how I got on with that. Manage that for a few days and then start to increase it. It's those baby steps that are really important if you are going to continue to take it, but also if you're coming off it as well. It's really important that these things are the solution to both of those situations from there. And if we look at the the protein side of it, we've spoke massively about how important your fibre
Oh my God.
intake is for your gut health, and in turn how that's going to improve like your mental health. And the recommendation would be getting 225 grams
Yeah.
of fibre from those natural food sources.
Yeah, for sure. So your 25 grams of fibre would be absolutely ideal, which is not an easy feat, by the way, even when you do have an appetite. So that would be something that I would definitely look into researching on. Lots of things like beans, legumes, pulses, raspberries, avocados, all of those things are super, super high in fibre. Chia seeds are amazing for it. So those are the things that you should definitely be adding in. If you don't have the appetite to eat them, though, that's a warning sign that your dosage is way too high.
Yes.
Way too high. You still want to have an appetite. It's meant to be suppressing these compulsions, not everything in your life.
Take away. And I think the most important one for me anyway, I think, is make sure that you're strength training.
Oh my God, yes.
Now, when you are in a situation like this, we spoke a couple of times about near fainting episodes that we've had with members in the club, and it's fine when you're first aid trained, you've experienced that. Make sure you're training with support. And whether that be in a controlled environment where you have got members of staff on hand, ideally train with coach support during this time, not only for the physical training and the strength training, but the power of having a coach at this point is day in, day out giving you your power back, in which you can actually take control of this. It's massively important, as we've already spoke about, of building your muscle, that we need to try and get that back up, right? But see, having that support of someone to educate you on every single part of this, it's invaluable.
It's invaluable. I think what Sky had mentioned was not even feeling thirsty. So making sure that you're consuming enough water. But I think like the big one for me is create your get out plan. Right? Your getaway driver, right? I think like this is really, really important. I don't believe that these drugs were created. In fact, I'm not even going to get into that. These drugs, they take away a wee bit of power, I think, right? They do. But if we want to get your power back, we've got to create this getaway plan. And the getaway plan is completely different to the plan that got you to be taking these drugs in the first place. As I said earlier on, metabolic dysfunction doesn't just happen by nature. Some of us can be genetically predisposed to things like high blood pressure because it's in the family, right? Or type 2 diabetes because it's in the family. We can be predisposed, but our lifestyle choices have an absolute massive impact on this. If we are only taking these medications, jabbing ourselves with them, getting to the end point, and then going back to revert to live the life that we did before without strength training, eating ultra-processed foods, not consuming enough protein, the same thing, the cycle is just going to go on loop and loop and loop and loop again. And as I said earlier on, these drugs have been in production for a long time, more so for general population. Maybe in the UK the past 5-ish years, more grown in popularity just now. There has been an 8.5% increase in people living with obesity and overweight in the time that these have been in production. Are they working long term? Are they putting a band-aid on things? We have got to do better in educating grassroots level. We need to be teaching our children how to eat well and what normal foods are. What ultra-processed foods are actually doing is creating ultra-processed people. By the way, incredible book. If you have not read it, amazing book if you've not read it. That will reclaim some of your power back, as well as Good Energy. That is an incredible book as well. This will help you reclaim your power. But get your get out plan together. Know what you're going to do afterwards, because see, if you don't, you're just going to go right back to square one. And what was all of that for? You would have spent thousands of pounds getting to this X amount or this weight or this feeling or whatever we thought it was going to be, to then just revert back to source, right? And then we just play ping pong, ping pong.
It's that 6-week challenge cycle that we talked about in one a few episodes ago of it's not the solution. Education is absolutely key, and you made a really valid point there about how much you would have invested to be in the exact same position. And if there's any bit of advice that I've probably got invest in a coach.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, these injections come with a big price tag, right?
In every way.
Yeah, people are willing to pay that financially to get what they want. See what you're spending monthly on your injections. You could be getting a shit hot coach that is going to provide you with education, accountability, one-to-one support, and as cheesy as it might sound, literally change your life.
Yeah.
Right? Your health is your wealth. 2 cheesy quotes in the space of 2 minutes.
Do you know what? I think, do you know what?
Right.
We've needed it.
Your health is your absolute wealth, right? We only get one chance at this, right? If you were not brought into the world having to inject yourself, you're not meant to inject yourself, right? And that's the way that it's got to be. Like, every single one of us have got the power to achieve whatever our goals are when it comes to health and fitness, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of how hard your life is, whatever card you've got, right? Everyone has got that power. The more we normalise this, the more that takes that away, and we normalise, do you know what? Just go on the jabs, that's going to be your solution. And see, in 40 years' time, when you've got next to no muscle, you've got osteoporosis, and you can't even pick your grandkid up off the floor, it's at that point that you'll realise, I wish I'd done different.
Yeah. Mic drop. And you know what, Nats? I'm honestly so glad that you said that, because I'd have probably cried if you said that. So honestly,
No.
absolutely important to say. And yeah, we look at longevity as the biggest goal. So see that, getting to that point, can you imagine, and knowing that you'd done that to yourself through wanting to be skinny and conform to what the norm is, the social media norm is.
I say to people all the time, some of us, I believe, I've got cards that were dealt when we come into this world, and certain things happen to us in later life health-wise that we genuinely can't control, and that's really heartbreaking. But there's so much of our health that we can control, and regardless of how motivational, inspirational you want to be, it's our own individual responsibility. And if we get to a point that that health isn't there, do you want to look back and go, shoulda, coulda, woulda? Or do you want to look back and go, do you know what, I've done everything I could, sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just going to be on my cards.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that brings us very nicely to the end of our podcast. We need to change something, and I hope that today's podcast has sparked some change in you. If you are listening to this and it's on you've been on the fence and it's changed your view on it, we have done our job here.
Yeah.
And if it affects one person positively, then we've done our job.
So
We really, really, really hope that this has came from a place of love.
massively.
We respect everybody and we respect everybody's decision. But we wanted to be able to bring this information to you because everybody in the industry is too scared to speak about it. How many people have you spoken to that's in the industry that's when I wouldn't touch that with a shitty stick right now?
Yeah.
And do you know what? I read this quote yesterday and it was, be brave even when your voice shakes. And you heard our voices shake a few times today. So I hope that you know that this has came from the Sisterhood Circle. We love to the whole entire world because we want you to be healthy and we want you to be strong and we want you to be the power that you've always needed. So thank you for listening to our podcast today and we hope to see you again soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.